If you find that you share a lot of information but you don't get the sale, then you might need to install a strategy session into your sales process. I'm Marcel from Little Jack Marketing, home to the 4X Accelerator program, where we help small law firms get on the path from 6 to 7 figures by identifying the 4 levers to pull for business growth. And today, what I want to talk to you about is our strategy session mission. So there are 2 key components that make up a good strategy session. Number 1, it lets your prospect feel like they are in control. And number 2, it gives your prospect the confidence they need to commit with money and become a client. So the strategy session, that mission that we take our clients on, and which I'll take you through parts of it today, is a framework, a practical framework to help you save time, be in control, deliver the right information consistently every time, say less during a sales call, and stay focused on the next step of how you get someone from a client or from a prospect to a client. And at the end of this, I'll give you a quick shortcut on how you can actually get help on installing this strategy session in your business. All right, so how do you know if a strategy session is good for your business and your sales process? If you are dealing with time constraints, so you have to prep for meetings, you have to have the meeting and you're the one that's running it, and then you have to follow up with prospects to get them to close because they didn't close during the meeting. So then you spend time with your prospects, either too much time or too little, and you're dealing with a lot of constraints with your schedule and your agenda of trying to deliver the service while also bringing on new clients. You might feel a little awkward in your sales process. It might feel like you're being manipulative. You're trying to get them to be a client instead of helping them. And you overcorrect sometimes to a situation where you're being passive and you're just focusing on their needs and not so much your needs of actually getting that client. So you have this Goldilocks syndrome of it just doesn't feel right. Your value might be unclear, the way you're delivering your message. You know you can help, but you can't consistently articulate the value of what you provide to your clients and how to align it with their needs. You might find that you teach too much. You give away too much information too soon. When you give too much information, you talk about how to do something, it releases the tension during the sales process to move forward. You are less desirable because the person now feels empowered that they can go do this themselves, or that maybe it's easier than they thought and they can go shop around and just find the best price. You might simply just be overwhelmed, right? You're wearing too many hats in the business, you're putting out too many forest fires, and you feel like you're putting those forest fires out with a water pistol. There's just too much going on in the business. It's too hard to focus on building a sales process and to deliver consistent service to prospects to becoming clients. So where would you like to be instead? So instead of that, what you want to be is in a situation where you can free up your time, right? You want to prep less, follow up less, and be working with people who are ready to commit on that first sales call. You want to have confidence in your process. You want to guide the process consistently every time while letting your prospect feel like they're in control. You want to have consistent messaging. You want to say the same things, say what matters most to them, and articulate your value clearly. You want to show, know how. Don't teach, show know-how. So this is giving them just enough information on what you can do and how it can help them, but mostly focusing on the process of what they need to do today, the actionable steps of where they need to go from today sitting in this meeting with you to becoming a client, and then the first 30, 90, and 90 days and 12 months and beyond. And then lastly, you just want to stay more focused, right? You want to do the work that matters to move your business forward. So if any one of those things resonate with you, then you're definitely in the right spot, and a strategy session installed into your sales process could be the thing you're missing to help you move your business forward. Right, so what does this look like when you get it right? So first, let's revisit what's actually going on in a sales process here. So what we have is 2 opposing forces, right? On one side, we have you, and on the other side, we have your prospect or your lead. And I talk about this in our triage session because it's still part of your sales process. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch the triage session mission video. And what we're looking at here is that you have opposing forces, two people sitting at a table with different outcomes. And when you try to hit it head on, you will see resistance. It will feel like a brute force, and it will feel more like a fight than a partnership of 2 people walking together. Because what you want is a client, and what they want is information. And what we want to do is we want to pivot this or tack it into a direction of less resistance to an area of where you both align. And where you both align is with help. You can give help, and they want to get help. And what we want to show is that by working together, they can get the shortcut they need to go from here to here of getting their help. Right? It's that simple, is that you guys are a partnership, not opposing forces. So what happens when you can't get this right? Often you swing in one of two directions. You either become aggressive or you become passive. And what that looks like is, imagine that you are on this x-axis down here, and your lead is on this y-axis. And then there's this line going right down the middle here. What happens is, if you focus too much on this area above the line, this would be their wants, their needs, their desires, you are passive. And then if you focus too much on the line, or too much on this area below the line, which are your wants, your needs, and your desires, then you are aggressive. And it's very easy to swing back and forth between these two areas when you don't have a process. And ultimately what we want to do is we want to walk this line right here where we are seen as assertive. We're being mindful of both our needs, what we need from this meeting, and how we move on to the next step of gain the prospect the shortcut and you gain the client, all the way to helping both parties win. So then what does this actually look like, and how do you install a strategy session into your sales process? So what we put